On this week's episode of R&R on Sports, Larry and Howard are discussing the Super Bowl, Brett Favre's defamation rampage, and the past few weeks in the NBA. Then we have an incredible throwback conversation with Julius Dr. J. Irvin. And here are your hosts, Larry Robinson and Howard Robertson.
Hello and welcome to R&R on Sports. I am Howard Robertson.
And I am the great one, Larry Robinson.
Who told you were the great one?
Well, it's just kind of understood. You know,
By
some
whom?
things in
By
life,
whom?
like
By
you
whom? By whom?
breathe.
Does your wife even understand that?
Oh, she calls me great. She calls me amazing. She said, "Ooh, baby, you're amazing."
Boy, oh, you lie so much. Lie like a rug.
Oh, my God. Talk about amazing,
Like
though.
a rug.
Was that an amazing Super Bowl?
Yeah, it was. It was. It absolutely was. It was a very, very good Super Bowl.
What stood out to you?
What stood out to me actually was the even match that it was. What stood out for me,
Were you cheering for Philly?
Not just the teams, but the quarterbacks were very, very evenly matched. Everything, I think, was very evenly matched.
Well, one thing that wasn't evenly matched was the daggone officiating. Now, listen, I got an issue with the officiating for the final with the Bengals, as well as this Super Bowl. I mean, there is so many questionable calls. I mean, the James Bradbury holding call was just really weird. I mean, that was totally insignificant.
But I think that was less definitive than the Bengals call.
Oh yeah, I mean they just gave him another third down. I mean, here, wait a minute, y'all didn't do that right. Let's give you another third down here.
But I think that it was a very well played game.
Oh yeah,
hats off to Mahomes.
Hats off to Jalen Hurts,
Jalen
man.
Hurts, too.
Jalen Hurts really showed everybody what he's made out of. And you know what's interesting to me? This kid has been counted out on so many occasions. I mean, national championship with Alabama, then they just going to take him out of the game and put Tua in. Then you come back, Tua gets hurt, you throw him back in, and he wins the game. Then, you know, he has to leave. He goes to Oklahoma, gets to the national championship. This kid's a winner. He's a winner. He's got his dad. His dad was his coach. He's a coach's kid. This kid is a winner. Y'all better start putting some respect on Jalen Hurts' name.
I agree 100%. And the other thing that you need to do while you're respecting names is you need to respect Patrick Mahomes' name in term and particularly his will to win. This kid has a tremendous will to win. And through injuries and whatnot, and you know, he got a good shot of something at halftime.
He sure got a shot of something. He got a shot of something, brother.
A good shot of something.
Hey, man, that brother came out walking like he had never had an injury or anything.
He was bopping.
Hey,
he was more than walking. He was walking like us.
He was a pimp. He had the pimp walk on. He had the pimp walk on.
Big pimping in that walk. And I remember looking at him where I was and saying, uh-oh.
Wait a minute, man. Let me ask you this. What do you think about the fact that Eric Bieniemy has not gotten any opportunity anywhere, and he's literally been to the Super Bowl, won 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years? What's your take on that?
In the immortal words of, I believe his name was Marvin Gaye, had a song that said, "Make me want to holler the way they do my life."
Oh, wow.
This ain't living. Absolutely. That's
Eric Bieniemy, man, it's time for you to get an opportunity.
Happening. You wonder about what's happening? That's what's happening.
And I'm glad Andy Reid made reference to the fact that Eric Bieniemy does deserve his opportunity and an opportunity to run the show. Because the one thing I think is a knock on him is that Andy Reid is calling the plays. So he doesn't really get an opportunity to say, I really engineered this win, because he's not calling the plays, but he's the offensive coordinator.
And speaking of Super Bowl, hats off to Andy Reid. Andy Reid is absolutely
he found a personality.
The OG.
He got a personality from somewhere.
In coaching in the NFL. He can say or do anything that he wants to do right now.
That's true.
And people will apologize for it. He can say anything he wants to do. He wants to say he can do anything he wants to do. We got this kind of talk and so much more here on R&R on Sports. Don't go away.
Don't go nowhere.
Hey, it's your guy, DC. I'm back in the building here at Kazukian, bringing you the funk and funky politics Memphis. Just like our sister show, it's our news, our narratives, our way, but in our town. Y'all know how we do it around here in Memphis. Memphis is just gonna be Memphis. We're talking about that and, well, you know what? The politics, the people, the news, and the no-sirs. We talking about it all. Everything, man. Everything. Funky Politics Memphis promises to be the news you need. Tune into our launch on October 3rd on the Kazukian Network. Follow at Funky Politics Mem. That's Funky Politics MEM on social media for updates along the way. I am DC, and I'm out of here. See you soon.
Kazukian. Check out all your Kazukian favorites now. Download the Kazukian app, available on Android and iOS.
This is R&R on Sports.
Hello, this is the Welfare Helpline. Are you calling about your welfare money?
Hell yes, ma'am. I'm calling about my money. I ain't received my check in months. Who got my money?
Sir, it's possible that Brett Favre may have your money.
You say Brett baby got my money?
It's possible that your money is in the Southern Miss Volleyball building down in Hattiesburg.
Volleyball maybe got my money? Hey, Eddie, call Ray Ray and Day Day and Nene and Tay Tay and Bebe them and tell them to bring up that backhoe.
I beg your pardon. What did you just call me?
I didn't call you no hoe.
I think your money is at Southern Miss.
Miss better have my money.
Better have my money.
He didn't believe welfare money would be missed.
Brett better have my money.
They say they needed the money to build volleyball courts.
Brett better have my money.
His daughter needed a new place to play her sport.
Brett better have my money.
We're talking tens and tens of millions of bucks.
Brett better have my money.
I'm afraid you just may be out of luck.
Brett better have my money. Brett better have my money. We gonna dig up some volleyball. Brett better have my money.
Success in life is not a straight line. There are twists and turns in everyone's life, and the more you know about their story, the more you'll understand the process. Kazukian Media Group proudly presents The Journey, a show that features successful Black men in Memphis telling their stories of their lives and the ups and downs they've encountered on their ultimate road to success. We believe The Journey will encourage young men and help them see that life is a journey. Watch The Journey, hosted by me, Larry Robinson. Brought to you by the Kazukian Media Group in partnership with the Delta Boulay. And proudly supported by the Tennessee Valley Authority. Thank you to our partners.
You are listening to R&R on Sports.
Welcome back.
Brett better have my money. Pay me what you owe me.
Okay, all right. Confession. During halftime at the Super Bowl show, I was so confused.
You was confused about what?
I was confused about every damn thing. Okay. So let me begin.
Let's start with what?
Let me begin with that stuff they were standing on and it going up and down on whatnot on a string on some.
Man, that was
on
scary
some plastic,
to me.
On some wire, some see-through wire. Okay, so I've been in broadcast production all my career, basically.
Okay.
So I had to first figure it out whether or not I was seeing something that was real. Were they really levitating above the field? And so I had to figure that out. Then I thought they told me that the girl just had a baby. And then she's standing up there looking like pregnant as everything to me. And I'm going, how can that be?
Because she just had a baby.
What? And so that didn't add up.
Okay.
Then I didn't know none of the songs. I'm going, I thought
So you didn't know?
I thought Be Better Have My Money was a pimp song that somebody else did some time ago. I came to find out that ain't wrong.
No. AMG was one of DJ Quick's old artists, and he had a song called Be Better Have My Money. It ain't nothing like that. DJ Quick. So I can't say the words because
DJ Quick, was that the dude that was in Harlem Nights?
No, that wasn't that quick. No, that was Eddie Murphy.
Quick.
Eddie Murphy was quick in Harlem Nights. Now, don't be bringing that up. But listen, so AMG had a song called Be Better Have My Money. And then Rihanna came back. But back to the whole thing about, I was confused about that myself, brother. Because I was sitting there looking at her like, okay, she's not moving very much. It's almost as if she's pregnant. And I was like, wait a minute.
You didn't have to stretch your imagination, Larry.
But she wasn't.
She's wearing stuff that says, I'm pregnant. It's actually something in my belly right here.
No, she was... Listen,
yes, she did.
Was the big coat. The big coat and everything was an ode to.
But what about the red jumpsuit she was got?
That was because that was
that had a pouch. She looked like a dadgum kangaroo, boy.
But nah, man, literally, she was good. She was good, and I was appreciative of the fact that she still showed up. She still performed, and and I'm very, very proud of old Riri. But moving.
I didn't know how prolific Riri Trey, my son, had to tell me.
Nah, Riri's
you was looking at a billionaire.
Yeah,
I go, a billionaire who?
A billionaire, bruh. That Savage Fenty is strong. So listen, man, it was a good pick. Jay-Z did his thing with Rock Nation, coordinating the halftime show.
And then she had 100 and something dancers, all in the same little white suits. Man, I was so confused.
Listen, dude, I would have been scared. Listen, if I was A$AP Rocky, her baby daddy, I would have been scared that my baby is riding up and down on these little levitating platforms.
Would you get up on that thing?
Hell no. I couldn't do it, brother. I would not do that one. I'm serious, man. That looked crazy. Well, listen, man, we just came out of a break with Brett Better Have My Money.
Okay.
What do you think about him? Man, this dude is suing Shannon Sharp, Pat McAfee, and then Shad White. I mean, he's literally over defamation when homeboy.
Did they lie?
Homeboy, listen,
you
man.
accused of these things, my friend.
Brett, stop. Just stop. Just stop it, man. Listen, you a crook. You've been a crook. And literally the whole world knows it. So just stop it, man.
And you took money away from pro folks.
You took money from pro folks to build a volleyball stadium.
To build your daughter a volleyball court.
Come on, man.
Or a few
just stop.
Courts.
Just stop, man. Just stop. And we're going to leave that there. The Super Bowl, let's put a bow on it. You thought it was a fantastic show? Greatest Super Bowl game ever?
I don't know about that.
It was an amazing game, though.
It was an amazing game.
And I mean,
see, y'all into these greatest of all time and all that.
I'm just saying.
I'm going to tell you. No. It's easy for me to, and this one is related. My greatest Super Bowl game of all time is related to the one that was just played. You know how?
Mm-hmm.
Because mine had a black quarterback too. His name was Doug Williams.
Oh yeah,
now, that was the greatest Super Bowl of all time for Lil Howard.
Hey, but listen, we had two black quarterbacks.
You did,
and I was very impressed with the play of both. And what I love more than anything is that their dads are very active in their lives. Jalen Hurt being a coach's kid, his dad is a very popular high school football coach, doing exceptionally well. And then Patrick Mahomes, and then his dad is a professional, was a professional pitcher, professional baseball player. And once again, they were both very active, very outspoken in their kids' lives. So I really appreciate that more than anything.
I do too. And I will say this, that is something that we should never cease to encourage fathers, black fathers particularly. And I'm saying this is off script totally. I'm saying this. Stay in your children's lives. I don't give a damn. I'm talking to y'all. It's me and you talking now, okay? Father to father. I don't give a damn what happened between you and the children's mother. I don't care what y'all status is. They didn't have anything whatsoever to do with
it's a sports
that.
show.
I know it is.
All right.
But anyway, stay in your children's lives. It's important. It's more important than you would ever imagine.
So listen.
Let me tell you something. One last thing. Yeah, I'm going to be through in a minute. You only get one shot. You only get one shot at this. Otherwise, they can make you cry.
All right, listen. You mentioned greatest of all times, and then you mentioned about being a great black father. So listen, what do you think about LeBron James breaking Kareem's scoring record?
I think it's phenomenal. I think it's fantastic. I think it couldn't have happened to a better player. I think he is well deserving. I think he is everything that I was talking about in terms of a father. I think one of the things that he has on his bucket list that he has not announced, I think he literally wants to play on the same team with his son.
He wants to do a Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. deal.
I would tell you it's never been done in basketball before.
Well, ain't nobody played as long. LeBron been in the game for about 20 years.
For whatever reason.
And literally he's playing at an extremely high level. And I think he's found the fountain of youth.
Right.
But that goes beside the point. Quick, man, what happened in Brooklyn?
What happened in Brooklyn?
I mean, they blew that thing up, baby. They got
it was
Kyrie
the massacre.
Went to Dallas,
it was the massacre.
And then Kevin Durant gone to Phoenix, but they got a boatload of picks and everything, and they made a massive haul. I can't hate on Sean Marks and Josiah,
but you know
they
what?
did it right.
I think there was a hard, cold reality, and I think they realized that they did not have what they needed or who they needed to generate a championship and a ring. Right.
Well, the mentality definitely wasn't there. But lastly, man, they got Russell Westbrook out of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably the best thing for him in that he gets to go somewhere and really finish out his career in a way that I think would be much more positive.
I'll tell you somebody who I missed. I missed until I went to the game the other night in Memphis and saw him playing. I missed that Mike Conley had been traded.
Yeah, well, he was in purgatory out in Utah, and we got the purgatory All-Star game coming up.
Where he couldn't drink a Coke,
can't do anything, can't drink a cup of coffee, anything out in Utah. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's up with the NBA to put They didn't want no black people to come to the game.
There are no Starbucks in Utah.
I don't know, but I tell you what, I don't think they want any black people.
That's a question for our
crack producers. Is there any Starbucks in Utah?
And if so, how?
They decaffeinated all.
They all selling decaf.
They all selling decaffeinated coffee. Listen, man, we'll be right back.
Who we got? What we got coming up?
Hey, man,
I'm all just discombobulated.
Well, we're gonna do a throwback.
I have been confused.
We're gonna do a throwback. We're gonna do a throwback
interview.
Yeah, we're gonna do the late great, not the late great, but the great, not the late great,
no more.
Not the late
Dr.
great.
Dr. J is our interview. I can't let this cat talk no more because he got him late. Doc, we know you with us, brother. We're going to have you back on sports. So after this, the great Dr. J.
I'm Cynthia Daniels, host of Grind Set. Are you looking to start a business? Do you need tips on how to scale up? Get it on Grind Set. On this show, our guests will keep you listening. What's your Grind Set? If you happen to miss some of our episodes, make sure you check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast provider.
Grind Set on the Kadzukian Network.
This is R&R on Sports. Larry and Howard have an incredible throwback conversation with Julius Dr. J. Irvin.
Hey, this is Dr. J.
And here are your hosts, Larry Robinson and Howard Robertson.
And welcome back to a little R&R on sports. One of our favorite segments is iConversation. We have none other than Dr. J. Julius Irvin. Welcome to a little R&R on sports.
It's a pleasure to be with you guys. I'm looking forward to a good session.
Start us out in terms of how it all began for Julius Irvin.
In the last 11 months, I put my autobiography on the market, which is the truth be told, that journey that you're talking about. And we've had a documentary,
right,
which was nominated for an Emmy, Sports Emmy. Yeah, it literally a week ago Tuesday. And it told a story about, growing up in Hempstead, Long Island, and, living in a housing projects, and the building of a park next door, and my witnessing the building of this park, taking the area where we used to play sandlot football, and then transforming it into this beautiful park called Campbell Park, with backboards with nets on them, lines on the football field and on the soccer field, and then just some open space for swings and merry-go-rounds and stuff like that. Literally watching this place being built from my living room window in the projects, and only being big enough to just be able to peer over the windowsill and having to jump to get a better view. And when you jump, like you see something for a split second,
right,
and then you back on the ground,
right.
And you see it again,
right,
and you back on the ground. So I did a lot of jumping, so I could just see that happening.
Oh, so that's where the explosive hops came from, huh?
I think it contributed to it.
Yeah.
And then those swings, when they put the swings in, that's when I got familiar with the hang time.
Hang time. There you go. There you go.
I used to go down there and jump out of those swings and just feel like flying.
Oh, wow.
The thing about flying is, if you don't know how to land, you don't fly as high.
There
right?
you go. Right.
So learning how to land was the key. If you could land on your feet, or you could land and tuck and roll and not get hurt, then you would jump higher.
Right.
You would fly higher. So as a little boy, I used to do that, and I used to enjoy the sensation of flying from just jumping out of swings, man. And, as like a lot of kids running up and down steps, playing on the monkey bars and all that stuff. That was my experience, and I felt very fortunate, to grow up in the suburbs of New York, where I had access to a park that allowed me to do that. And it was right next to, my housing project.
Mm-hmm. Wow. You have become the absolute epitome of cool and class. Where did that come from in Hempstead or Long Island, New York?
There's a lot of cool guys around. And, some of them, had this fraternal instinct. Stopping just short of being a gang. And some of the older guys, they were pretty cool. So they appreciated, bringing somebody in and bringing somebody up in terms of, your development. Like, hey man, you look like a pretty cool kid. You got some potential. You got some athletic talent. So we're gonna keep an eye on you. Mm-hmm. And some of the push athletically was balanced out with helping you to understand life at an early age. The heartaches, that are a part of it, your acceptance of that. And, I was a teenager, when I was a pre-teenager, when I lost the first person in my life, who was my father. And, handling, they would always say, Julius, is not that something happens to you, because stuff happens to everybody. The key is how you handle it and how you bounce back from that. Don't let, misery dictate your life. And you have to be responsible for making your own happiness. And to learn that at the tender age of preteen, those years, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, is very impactful in terms of how I am today, at age 64.
Share how you got the name Dr. J.
I didn't get called Dr. J until I was 21, 22.
Okay. Really?
The previous 6 or 7 years, maybe at about age 15, I had a buddy and we had nicknames. I called him the Professor and he called me the Doctor. And, we're still friends today. I mean, we're like golfing buddies. And his name is Leon Saunders. He changed it to Kwaku, Leon. And he's a great guy, very accomplished guy in the music industry.
Okay.
As a manager and as a agent and as a concert promoter. And he used to call me the Doctor. And we graduated Roosevelt High School together, Roosevelt Junior Senior High. And then we went to UMass together. And we were always really, really good buddies. And now, we remain the best of friends, lifelong friends. And we look back on that, and every now and then I just look at him and say, Professor, you are being the professor right now, because he's like an argumentative type guy and a lecturer. And every time I call him the professor, he comes back with the Doctor. So he put the Doctor moniker on me. And after I signed my first pro contract and I went to camp with the Virginia Squires, which is now a defunct team, but they had Dr. Mason, and they used to call the assistant trainer Doc, and there were other people who they called Doc or Doctor. So the trainer, whose name was Bob Travellini, the Chopper, he called me Dr. J. And when he called me Dr. J, that just stuck. I mean, that just made a whole lot of sense as to being just called a doctor or Doc. It was Dr. J, and the team started to promote that, and we had a great player named Charlie Scott who played with us, who was Hall of Fame worthy and had a great career.
Laurinburg Institute down in North Carolina.
Laurinburg Institute, North Carolina, straight out of Harlem. And so they said the Virginia Squires featuring Charlie the Great Scott and Julius Dr. J. Irving. And that was the first time I ever saw it sort of in a promotion, sort of in like promoting the Squires. And that's where Dr. J came from.
What landmark moment when you said, wow, I do this really well?
After my sophomore year of college, it was literally that late, because I always looked at myself as a team guy, team player. And in college, I was the leading scorer and rebounder and, posted good stats and whatever. But I always looked at, the things that the other players did that they could do better than me. And sometimes it was something as simple as, shooting jump shots from the corner, or, better free throw percentage. Guy would have a good rebounding game. And he's a monster on the boards or whatever. So when I would always see these things within my teammates, I always felt good about it. And I always felt like we were equals. Then after my sophomore year, got invited to a camp, which was for the development of the 1972 Olympic team.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out to Colorado Springs, and I'm playing. I went out as an alternate because I wasn't with the first 40 guys that they picked from around the country. So I went out as an alternate after somebody got hurt, and I started playing with these guys. And they'd come back to the, to the headquarters where we ate and where we slept, and they would be talking about the pros and what they knew about pro players and what they thought of themselves. When they said these things that they thought of themselves, it made me kind of assess what I thought of myself, because I was at least as good as the best player, which made me better than most of the other players who were there, all of the other players who were there. And I ended up, we went on tour, and I ended up leading the team in scoring and rebounding And we toured Russia, Poland, and Finland. So we got played against international competition. And I think at that point, I knew I was, as you said, something special.
What was it like for you going from high school to UMass?
I visited Iowa State University. I visited University of Buffalo. I visited the schools in New York, Manhattan College, Columbia. Went up to Dartmouth, and because I was good academically, so I went to Boston University. Some were too far away from home, and some were, as they say, little fish in the big pond,
right,
versus being the big fish in the little pond. So the program at UMass, they had a great player named Billy Tyndall, and he didn't make it in the pros. I think after he graduated, he played some in Europe, and became a very senior guy at IBM because he was very academic, and he was an inspiration. But I looked at the school, I looked at the program, and the relationship between the coach there, Jack Lehman, and my high school coach was long term because they had both gone to Boston University together. And I just felt I'd go where I would be comfortable, I'd be able to play, I'd be more of a big fish in a little pond because the program was Yankee Conference, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maine, New Hampshire, UMass, and Vermont. And I, and at 6'3.5", I got out of high school. I grew 3 inches after high school.
Oh, really?
I was 6'4.5" when I got there. I was 6'5.5", almost 6'6" when I left there. And so my development was clearly during my collegiate years when I grew and gained weight because I was 163 pounds, and when I got out I was 195.
Okay.
And 6'6", 195, and ready to try and take on the world.
Throwback. R&R on Sports.
Pitcher, left-hander, Vita Blue. Welcome to R&R on Sports.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be on. Let's get it on, man. Let's talk to
That's
baseball.
right.
Talk to sports.
It's R&R on Sports. Throwback. Humans Being with Kirk Whalum.
Avery Sunshine, I am just overjoyed to spend some time with you.
Listen, what you know about pot liquor? You from Memphis, so you know.
My favorite part of all of that, I'm like, don't throw that away.
Humans Being with Kirk Whalum.
This is R&R on Sports.
Dr. J, a little R&R on Sports.
Do you ever think about, man, if I'd have had an ESPN or some of those other outlets when I was coming along, my life would be a lot different?
Not at all. I pay homage to Elgin Baylor, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Oscar Robertson. I mean, that's like my starting five all time. And I think I picked that team maybe when I was about 15.
Okay.
So I look at those guys, and those guys, they laid the foundation for me. And others, Kareem, Rick Barry, Elvin Hayes, Walt Frazier, Tiny Archibald, we laid the foundation for the guys of today. And they benefit from it. They benefit usually from it. But, they also have the loss of total privacy, partial privacy. I mean, it's 24/7, 365 days a year in which, somebody is pulling at them, and, whether it's for good or for ulterior motives, they have to deal with that. And I think, we escape some of that and still, and because we escape some of that, we have had some personal privacy that, still exists today. So to have a brand, right now that, I'm very much involved in selling and utilizing, there's still a good feeling about, kicking back and, enjoying my kids, enjoying my grandkids, enjoying my friends, not as a 24/7 celebrity, because of a platform that in part, was created through manipulation. my platform was created on performance.
Great, right.
Performance on and off the court.
Talk about your life post NBA.
I've tried to be a good citizen first. Just saying that. Look, I believe in the American dream, and I believe that the things that I was able to accomplish, particularly things off the court, were available to everybody who wants to be empowered by being educated. For one thing, and then employable. If you're educated and you're employable, that's going to give you some power.
Right.
And that what you do with that power remains up to you. It's really a choice, that you make. And America is the greatest country in the world for allowing that to happen. So you could be down and out on Sunday, and then, on Friday, your world can change dramatically by someone that you meet or something that you read or something that you experience that just allows you to be a part of the American dream. That's what I think is so great. And I always, there's one other thing I always think about, and I always share this with people. Like when you're young and you're going through junior high school and you're going through high school, you're going through college and whatever, and you have this party mentality, and you're thinking, well, the best days of my life are now, so I need to whoop it up, and I need to, I need to let it all hang out. Well, it's pretty sad if you come out of college at age 22 and the best days of your life are done.
Right, behind you.
So what do you have to look forward to? So you always have to keep the carrot out in front of you. The best days of your life are yet to come. The best days of Julius Erving's life are still yet to come. And I've had some great days. I've had some great days, some great nights, and I've done a lot of things and visited and met a lot of people, met royalty,
right? And
I've been in prisons and seen people who were down and out, and I always try to tell them, look, the best. Program yourself to think of the best things happening in your life being in front of you. And it might be, reaching age 80 and sitting there with great grandkids, and you watching them play out in the front lawn or whatever. It might be something as simple as that, but have that mentality and have that as a motivation for you getting up in the morning and saying, I'm ready for it. If that best day is happening today, I'm ready for it.
So, Doc, what else is out there, I guess, mountains that you have left to climb?
Just to give you a more full picture of what has happened in the last 30 years, almost 30 years since I've been out. I partnered with Bill Cosby and with J. Bruce Llewellyn. We were the first minorities to own equity in Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, that's right.
Which is the greatest brand in the world. And, we had a Coca-Cola bottling company in Philadelphia for 20 plus years. And now, Coca-Cola Enterprises runs that. We've been in cable TV. I've been in the technological space. I've been in the medical space. I still, under Dr. J Enterprises right now, have business collaborations with a dozen or more companies where we use our brand to make them bigger and better at what they do. And that allows us to stay big and stay, in the public eye, under control, privately held as opposed to publicly held. But I learned a lot about publicly held corporations from being on corporate boards from 1987 right up through, the 2000s, when I was on the board of Saks Fifth Avenue, I was on the board of Sports Authority, I was on the board of Williams Communications Company, LCI International, and took those roles very seriously, 3 different bank boards and hospital boards where you learn how the world works and how you can make your contributions to the world. So those experiences have helped to sustain me and also sustain my name, face, and likeness as being, somebody who's trustworthy and who can help you to help yourself. Because, my thing, and even with my children, my grandchildren, I don't want to just do for them and make them dependent on me for all of their lives. I want to help them help themselves so that they can create their own platform, and then they can take care of their dependents the right way and then teach their dependents how not to be completely dependent, but to be independent.
Now, you're a granddaddy how many times?
I have 5 grandchildren.
I hear you. When you have the opportunity to counsel with young professional athletes of any sort. Share with us the main thing you tell them.
Well, I think the reality is when you're in professional sports is that this is a temporary profession. This is something that you can do for a window, a period of time that is all too short, unless you're fortunate, to get 10 to 15 years in or 15 to 20 years in, as they do in like baseball for the most part. The average time in basketball is 5 or 6 years. The average time in football is 4 years.
Right.
Baseball is longer, hockey's longer, but it's still temporary. It's just something that you're going to do during the time you're allowed to do that and that you can physically get out there and perform. And it's not something that you choose, because all you choose to do is be the best that you can be at your sport. And then you have to be chosen. You have to be either drafted or somebody has to pursue you and want your talent. So of the thousands or tens of thousands of people who want to be there, there's only a few hundred that are going to get there. And there's only less than a few hundred on a yearly basis who actually enter the pro lifestyle. So while you're there, don't take it for granted. Don't take anything for granted. Work hard, be the best that you can be, and, generate assets, preserve them, and understand that there's going to be another phase in your life in which you're going to go from being a pro to being a former pro. And when you're a former pro, you still want your phone to ring. So if you've done the right thing during that time, your phone will ring off the hook probably for the rest of your life. And if you haven't been able to do that and you're not one of those fortunate ones, you need to learn how to make calls and build a network of people that you can reach out to help you help yourself.
Words of wisdom. Doc, you're my hero, man. In recognition of being able to talk to you today on the show, you can't see them, but I got my Chuck Taylor's high tops on, which you well know was a brand of choice for us back in the day. It was the only one.
Well, see, in my day,
ain't nobody talking about you didn't have no day.
In my day, we wore the Dr. J's. Has there ever been a relationship there beyond just the obvious with Converse and the leather Dr. J's?
I'm still a ambassador for Converse. We do have a contract. That's one of our business-to-business collaborations.
Cool.
It's been there since 1974.
Wow.
So we're 40 years with having this relationship. As you know, Converse was acquired by Nike.
Right.
So it's under Nike's umbrella, but still operates as a $6 billion a year company. And I'm one of their ambassadors. So we still, that dozen collaborations that we have, along with the Sixers and, Upper Deck, the Panini cards, and the hospital companies. We still have that, and the door is open, because every time a door closes, another door opens. I mean, that's just simple semantics, the way I see it. So I don't worry about doors closing, and Converse has been great. That's probably been my longest term endorsement, and they have had the Dr. J Pro Leathers, and we've had Dr. J Classics come out, which there was a limited number. My last year, we literally gave away 100,000 pairs of Dr. J Classics to Salvation Army centers around the country, which was 1987, and I spearheaded that along with the guys in Converse, Give Ford in particular, and so that's been a great relationship for 2/3 of my life. And I'm glad you got them on.
That's right. The absolute epitome of an icon. We've been thrilled to talk to Julius Erving on Little R&R on Sports. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Doc.
You're very welcome. It was good talking to you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. You too. Take care. We'll be back in touch. Hope you'll get back with us.
All right. We'll chop it up again.
All right.
Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
And we'll be back with a little R&R on Sports.
Blues in the basement. Today's show is History is the Blues. Don't answer the door if I'm not at home.
Knock, knock, who's there?
And COVID every day.
I have the blues, but that's the truth. You just said something right there.
Make me feel good inside. Come on. Groove me, baby.
Groove me, baby.
I love Eric Clapton.
Oh, why did you?
You know, he shot the sheriff. He didn't shoot to death, did he? He didn't shoot to death.
I was going to say I have a black bottle, but...
Okay, leave that alone.
That's a song.
No.
That's a song.
That's a song. Yes.
Black bottle. It's a dance.
It's a dance, yeah.
You are listening to Blues in the Basement. Blues in the Basement. Blues in the Basement, powered by Kadzukian.
That's it.
Kadzukian. Check out all your Kadzukian favorites now. Download the Kadzukian app. Available on Android and iOS.
This is R&R on Sports.
Welcome back to R&R as we head toward the door. So
Peace.
We finally heard from our crack, often on crack, staff. And they told us that there are, in fact, Starbucks in the state of Utah as of 2019.
2019, the very first one in 2019.
They do sell caffeinated coffee, which we're happy to hear.
I don't believe it.
They sell caffeinated
I don't believe
coffee,
it,
man.
I don't believe it, man. I don't believe it.
Believe it or not, I mean, Mormons don't.
They got decaffeinated Coca-Cola out there.
Okay.
They got decaffeinated Coca-Cola, man.
They have them out
They
there,
selling Sprite and Coke cans.
That's what we found out. So, shout outs. Want to shout out, I will shout out Brittany Griner. I heard that she was at the Super Bowl and she has been making her rounds. And I'm going to shout her out because she has been doing that in a pretty inconspicuous way. Ain't been making a big thing out of it and all of that. I know she said she wants to be around people and whatnot, but I know that people can very, very quickly get to be bothersome and tiresome, particularly with somebody that's been alone for a good amount of time. So kudos to her. Glad you're getting out. Glad you're getting out on your terms, and it doesn't look like you're not exploiting, if you will, by name and fame. What you did, and I know it's a journey back, but good luck.
Well, my shout out is to two people, DeMar Hamlin and Rick Ross. DeMar Hamlin, because you are out, you living, you feel good. It looks like you're feeling good. And hopefully, man, your health is on point. Probably won't play football again, but once again, man, you got a great foundation.
You ain't making that determination.
No, I just said probably. I said probably. But listen, let me get to my second one. Rick Ross had to have the livest suite in all of Super Bowl history. He literally had every rapper in the world in his suite. I know they were like, hold on. I know that suite smell. That suite had a smell.
Talk about levitating.
Along with Wingstop chicken. He had Wingstop chicken and plenty of weed. Weed and Wingstop. So shout out to Rick Ross.
All he needed was Sly Stone. Want to take you higher.
And with that,
that's it. We always have a great time with y'all here on R&R on Sports. We appreciate you being with us. Don't be anywhere else but with us next week. Same place, same time. R&R on Sports. I'm Howard Robertson.
And I'm the great one, Larry Robinson.
Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Most importantly, we are out.
Peace.
R&R is hosted by Larry Robinson and Howard Robertson. R&R is directed, produced, recorded, and distributed by Kadzukian.